Leaders in the Caribbean are showing a united front against the U.S. government policy, demanding regional leaders distance themselves from the Cuban medical missions or face the loss of their U.S. visas. Finance Minister Dennis Cornwall is the second government minister in Grenada to step forward to say, take the visa if that's what it costs to remain standing with the Cuban people. The U.S. administration announced on the State Department website this expanded policy applies to current or former Cuban government officials and other individuals, including foreign government officials, who are believed to be responsible for or involved in the Cuban labor export program, particularly Cuba's overseas medical missions. This policy does not sit well with Minister Cornwall.
My government has already cited that we are prepared to go to the extreme to make sure that we keep our people safe. So if it means that we have to give up our visa rights to the U.S. to make sure that Grenada stands behind Cuba as one of the countries that supported Grenada in thick and thin. I personally was one of the persons who graduated from Cuba University back in the days and so on. I got a scholarship to Cuba. And as such, I have a moral obligation to support the Cubans in every way. So if it means that the government of the U.S. decided to take away our visas because we support the Cuban initiative, I would say so be it.
Yeah. The finance minister explained the importance of this initiative to Grenada Wednesday morning on the To The Point program.
Cuban doctors and nurses who have visited our shows over the years and perform a valuable service for our people. We complain every day that the service in the hospital is bad. But we have Grenadians who are graduated from St. George universities, Grenadians, and they are not here to basically support the health system. So if we can depend on the Cuban graduates to basically help the system until we can fix it to a point, I would say so be it. And I'll fully support the Cubans at any time, anywhere, because I think they are doing a very useful and human service to the government of Grenada and the people of Grenada.
In his recent contribution to the 2025 budget debate, Foreign Affairs Minister Joseph Andal shared similar sentiment. He said Grenada has a legal, moral, and ethical obligation to stand by the people of Cuba.
Cuba continues to be a trustworthy friend and partner, not only of Grenada, not only of the Caribbean, but of peoples the world over. When the COVID pandemic broke out, Cuban doctors went as far as Italy to provide services. I didn't hear anybody talk about human trafficking or nothing like that. Were it not for the selfless support of Cuba, many of us would not have had the opportunities for further education that we got.
Andal, also a graduate from Cuba, said the island's healthcare system could collapse if the Cuban medical personnel are removed. Ministers Cornwall and Andal join other government ministers and prime ministers in the Caribbean denouncing the policy by the Donald Trump administration. Cherry and Blackman Stephen, GBN News.